Well, good morning, Fremont County, and welcome to WyoToday Sports Live. I'm Baylor Beers, joined by Cody Beers and Kevin Shields over the phone in Jackson. Kevin, you're over there at the regional soccer tournament. Sounds like Riverton had a good day yesterday.
Yes, it's the 4A West Regional. One of the things that WHSAA will be looking at potentially, depending on how this funding thing goes. And it makes some sense because 3A, of course, is just playing regular season. They base it on what happens in regular season, like the vast majority of the world when it comes to soccer, like the European clubs, South American clubs, etc. But nonetheless, exciting games yesterday, guys. Girls facing Natrona County for the third. Let's just say they're familiar with one another. The third game in 12 days. And it played out somewhat similar in the fact that Riverton had opportunities, probably 2 times as many as Natrona, but Natrona did have some opportunities, and no one really could convert except for at 18:08 left in the first half. Celia Meharado, one of the senior captains, found another senior leader in Timry Mathill. Mathill buried it. That was the only goal of the game. A little bit different than the previous 2 matchups because in the previous 2, no one had scored until like the final 8 minutes or less. And they'd split the series, both winning at the other's home. So then it was about holding on. Of course, a little bit different than the last game we beat Natrona because Natrona just started throwing everybody from defense forward. I've even seen at times goalies sent forward. Didn't happen last night because, of course, if you're going to be eliminated, who cares if it's 1-0, 2-0, 3-0? Your season's over. So it just kept getting more and more pressure filled. And again, Natrona had their opportunities, failed to capitalize. Riverton Lady Wolverines headed to state, but they've got something important in front of them as well today at 1 o'clock on WyoToday Media's YouTube and Facebook. They will face the number 1 team in the state, the Jackson Lady Broncs, who come in at, if I've got this right now, 12-1-1.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a challenge, 12-1-1. That's an impressive record. Obviously, we've talked a lot about Jackson, and of course they have the home field advantage over there in the western part of the state.
Oh, yes. They're the bar to meet. They're definitely the bar to meet. Yeah, it's going to be super, but it will also be interesting. What is Jackson's tactic? What is Riverton's tactic? Riverton, of course, trying to improve the seeding. Jackson as well. Jackson may come in and say, hey, we don't need a high seed. We're a member of the 8. They both, boys and girls, got a bye because the regular season champ gets a bye and is automatically in state. So unless they really, really don't want to play somebody specifically from the East, there's a whole lot of tactics as far as this game goes that the Jackson coach could take. Again, Riverton lost here 2-1 towards the end of the season on a goal scored with 45 seconds left to take the lead from them. So they can play with them. They've got to play their A game. The boys' games, guys, made the girls' game look like it was just routine. Riverton had won the series with Rock Springs, beat them 2-0 throughout the regular season, shut them out through the regular season. So, of course, what that means is, as they say, it's hard to beat a team 3 times. You shut a team out twice. That means they're going to score early on you, and that's exactly what happened on a really bad defensive error by Riverton. 2 Riverton players, 2 center backs at the time, both converged on a ball. Would have been relatively easy to clear it, and they both kind of took the back seat to let the other one do it, so nobody did it. And Rock Springs, with a ton of speed, came right flashing in, put it in the back of the net. And that's where we went to half down 1-0. Riverton did not play well the first half. It got really, really chippy. And, guys, I don't mean just on the pitch. The fans got chippy, and they admitted it. I mean, Rock Springs and Riverton faithful are just chirping at each other below me in the stands. It was actually somewhat comical. It didn't get too out of hand. But a lot of Riverton people were there. A lot of family, obviously, and even a lot of the girls came over after their game to watch. And then disaster hit. And that's when Peyton Larson, one of the leaders of the team, especially defensively, he goes flying across the field. Very dangerous play as it was put. Clips a guy with an elbow coming across into the head. Kid goes down hard, obviously, face down. And Larson gets red carded and ejected. So he's out the game. And in soccer, you can't replace him. So Riverton's now down 1-0 to an elimination game, and they're playing with one less man for 35-plus minutes. Somehow, that woke up the Wolverines. They started putting Rock Springs on their back heel. They started really pushing forward, but couldn't get anything really past their keeper, Para, until a 11-yard, maybe 12-yard penalty, just outside the box, free kick that Hunter Saltzgaber was taking after a foul. And I swore on air, guys, that he was going for goal. He would 99% of the time, but that's why he's him and I'm me. And the coaches have an idea. He just pops it just right over the wall that the defenders have formed, and Trent Weber heads it in to tie it up. We stayed that way through the rest of the second half. We stayed that way through the first extra time 10 minutes. We stayed that through the second extra time 10 minutes. We went to penalty kicks, where for both teams, only one guy has ever actually kicked a penalty kick in real life situation. And for Rock Springs, that situation showed. For Riverton, it did anything but. Riverton hits their first 4 straight. Rock Springs missed their first 2, put themselves in a position after they allowed the third one to get in from Trenton Weber that they could not miss another one they can miss one more or allow one more. They couldn't do both. If they both hit the rest of the way, Riverton was going to win just due to math. Well, they missed their 4th one, and then sophomore Braden Terry stepped up, calm, cool, collective, cannon for a leg, but let the game slow down. And for him, just gently put it where the goalie had to go. And that was kind of the difference. Riverton put the balls where the goalie could stop them, but they'd have to work for it. The first one to get off the bat for Riverton was Hunter Saltzgaber burying it unfortunately for Rock Springs. Their first one, guy tried to get really fancy and go top shelf, and he missed high. And that just kind of set the whole moment. And Riverton won 4-1 on penalty kicks with the final score of 1-1 with a penalty kick win. Unfortunately, they too, after a very long game and a very long night, get to face the host, the number 1 Jackson Bronx. And unlike the ladies so far this season, they have not been able to play with that elite level team.
So when you get red carded, Kevin, do you then miss today's match?
Yes, Peyton Larson is out. Missed the rest of that game, and they couldn't replace him. He will miss today, but at least they can play in his stead. Riverton already shorthanded, Cody, because we talked about this, I think, just not on the air because it happened since we were last on the air. But, of course, in the final game of the season down in Natrona County, one of the most scary injuries I've ever seen occurred when Austin Romero took a shoulder to right above the eye, and he went down. He just went limp in midair and just came down on his face. Didn't move for like 20, 30, 40 seconds. He was out that entire time. He's in concussion protocol. He still got symptoms, nausea and vomiting and stuff like that. So I know the kid pretty well. He knows my son pretty well. I hope he's feeling better. Hope he's listening to the games. His stepbrother's Braden Terry, who scored that last one. So you lose him defensively. On the same week, you get Aaron Hutchinson back from a knee injury. Was a little bit rusty. He plays more midfield, so that's where he filled in. And you're about to play Jackson, and you're missing you're missing Austin Romero, one of your top defenders, and then you lost maybe your very top defender in Peyton Larson for today as well. So Riverton playing short in an area against Jackson, you don't want to play short, and that's the defensive back line.
So when you qualify for state on a Thursday, then you have to come back and play the number 1 seed. You're playing for seeding at this point. I mean, you could win a regional championship, but you're playing for seeding. Once you get to state, what's the point of continuing to lay it out there on the field? Should you chalk this one up and maybe go for the 3 seed tomorrow? It's one of those strategy things that coaches have to think about. Do you lay it out on the field tomorrow as opposed to today?
It's really interesting to me, Cody, because in this regional tournament environment, specifically in soccer, of course, we all call basketball where it's win 2 before you lose 2. So, it's very important to get those 2. In soccer, you start off almost like what you would expect in sports to be the Saturday game, where everything's on the line. Everything's on the line the first game you play. It's single elimination on Thursday, win or go home, doesn't matter who you are except for Jackson gets the bye. So, yeah, there is some case for, do you lay it out on the line against, especially down, against Jackson? Does Jackson, who is undefeated with a tie on the boys' side, do they even lay it on the line, or do they really care if they're the 1 seed, or they may not even care if they're the 4 seed? I mean, when you look how dominant they've been, I'm not saying they're going to win it just outright with ease and ease and ease, but what I am saying is they've got the capability of beating anybody from any group of seed. There are no buys at state. So do you rest a little bit? If you've got a guy who's maybe 85%, little hobbled on the right leg, let's say, do you go, we're just going to rest you? Of course, that leads to possible momentum and things of that nature. Riverton on pay, it's hard to say because you only get a chance to play undefeated teams so many times, and a team that level of Jackson. And if you pulled the upset in Jackson, that might be the most memorable game you pull from this season, unless you win the state championship. I won't make any bones about it, especially on the boys' side. This is going to be a difficult game, especially when you consider games are normally 80 minutes. You just played 100 minutes last night. The nerve-wracking of penalty kicks, which seems like a silly way to fix an elimination game, in my opinion. But for 5 minutes, your heart's in your throat. You're over there with your teammates. Then you just dump all this adrenaline and celebration if you're Riverton. And now you got to turn around and get it all back by 3 o'clock today. That's going to be a tough ask.
So game times today, again, on WyoToday YouTube and Facebook. Give us game times, when you're going to go on the air, all the good stuff.
Games are scheduled for 1 and 3. All the games the rest of the way are scheduled at the high school football stadium. We were at the synthetic practice field for one game yesterday. So all at the high school football stadium. We could very well possibly, as you know, for all listeners, but just like when Cody, you and I do basketball and stuff like that, Baylor, when you do basketball, it's a tournament with long games. We're not the first game of the day. So there's a chance we could be off on time. We were in the boys' game yesterday. It's supposed to start at 5. It started closer to 5:30. But we plan on going on the air kickoff at 1 and 3. And probably about 12:45, we'll go on the air, maybe 12:40-ish, with the Hampton Inn Suites pregame show. It will be unlike yesterday where we had to switch fields and we had 2 hours, 2.5 hours in between games. It will be more like a traditional regular season broadcast in the fact that the girls and boys will be on the same one. I'm not gonna shut one down and come back. So the other interesting part, like you said, Cody, is you win one game, you win the elimination game, you win the big game, and now you're playing for 2 more days. The one tomorrow going to be really important. You'd like to avoid the one out of the East. But, at this point, it's going to be who's just not happy to be here, who wants to win a regional tournament and maybe put that trophy on your wall, because you never know what could happen next week. To me, play the games in front of you. don't go nuts. If you have someone go down in your Riverton, they just go down. Even a minor thing, that's one of those, I think you rest them rather than bringing them back, even if they could come back, but they'd be 80%. Because,
Sure.
of course, next week in Gillette is huge, and actually tomorrow will determine when we go. Because if we're the third, I think it is, if we're the 3 out of the West, for either one, for the girls, we'll play at 9 o'clock in the morning in Gillette, so we'll probably leave Wednesday night.
Hey, sounds good, Kevin. I heard you got bucked off the saddle last night at the $1 Million Cowboy Bar. I heard that a Canada Goose.
I'm not a bar goer.
I heard that a
bar goer.
Canada Goose ran you across the parking lot at the high dollar hotel you were at. And,
on a serious note, though, let's give a little shout out to Lander Valley Soccer. Of course, they qualify for state a little bit differently. They qualify in the regular season. Boys are number 2, right behind Cody, and the girls are now a solid, I think, 3. But girls and boys are both headed to Gillette as well, 3A and 4A state in the same place. And so we'll have myself and either Jerry or Austin, whoever's going to be able to cover that. We'll have at least 4 games per school for you next week, because unlike the regionals here, day 1 is not elimination. You're guaranteed to play at least twice.
All right, Kevin. Well, hey, good luck today, and watch out for those Canada geese in your parking lot.
Will do, guys. Y'all have a great one and a great weekend. And everybody, again, 12:45 is tentative time. If not, I'll post it on social media saying, hey, we're running a half hour behind or whatever the case may be. But I doubt that will be the problem, as it will be Kelly Walsh facing Green River, I do believe.
All right.
So,
thanks, Kevin. Get some
all right,
breakfast.
guys. Have a great one.
Get some breakfast and enjoy that saddle at the $1 Million Cowboy Bar.
That has no appeal to me whatsoever, Cody.
Baylor, today, of course, the start of regional track meets all across Wyoming. The 1A and 2A West Regional Track and Field Championships are in Shoshone. Field events start at noon today, and track events at 1:45 over at Shoshone High School. Of course, Arapahoe Charter, DuBois, Fort Washakie, St. Stephen's will be there representing 1A, and in 2A it's Shoshone, Thermopolis, Wind River, and Wyoming Indian at Shoshone. The other 1A, 2A East Regional is in Torrington. 3A West Regional Track and Field Championships in Pinedale, and Lander's part of that group. Field events get underway today at 1 p.m., track events at 1:15, and then Saturday at 9 a.m. for most of the events there. 3A East is in Glen Rock. 4A West is over in Afton, and Riverton, the entire athletic field for Riverton is over on the other side of Togety Pass competing in. So field events in that 4A West Regional Track and Field meet get underway at noon today. Track events at 1, and then things get going at 9 and 10 in the morning. So good luck to Riverton High School. The 4A East Regional Track and Field is at Cheyenne East this weekend. So, we're heading down the home stretch for high school athletics this spring, and a lot of things going on. You've got Riverton playing soccer in Jackson. You've got Riverton at the regional track meet, Lander over in Pinedale at regional track, and then, of course, all the 1A, 2A teams over in Shoshone today, along with Thermopolis. So good stuff, a lot of things going on. There's no reason why a beautiful day like this can't include regional track for something to do.
Yeah, it finally warms up. We're getting close to graduation season here. So, of course, that means regional track, regional soccer, state track, of course. Good luck to all those athletes over there. It's kind of interesting. All the 4A West stuff is in the west side of the state, because that's a long drive for most 4A schools. But that's just how the cookie crumbles, I suppose. Back to soccer just briefly. He did touch on Lander, but I just wanted to throw those scores out there. Lander girls beat Lyman 8-0, and the Lander boys beat Lyman 4-3. Those games happening yesterday on Thursday, and then Lander, the girls and boys will finish the season, I believe, unless there's more games next week, but I'll go ahead and throw it out that they're finishing the season this weekend in preparation for state. But Lander will take on Mountain View at Mountain View, so that'll be a tough task for the girls. Obviously, they're the number 3 team ranked in the state by WyoPreps. Mountain View, the number 5 team ranked in the state for WyoPreps, and then the Lander boys obviously also taking on Mountain View. Those games are at 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. on Saturday. I don't know if they're on WyoToday, but I would assume that someone will be there to live stream those games.
Legion baseball tonight up at Roy Peck Field. It'll be the Lander Legends taking on the Riverton Raiders. That's a 5 o'clock first pitch. That'll be the only games all weekend, I believe, for Riverton, as many of the players run track and are in soccer. So I'm sure the Raiders are going to get their schedule up and running big time after school is out.
Yeah, currently, with the combination of AA and single A, Riverton obviously in the same division as Gillette, Jackson, Casper, all of those teams. Riverton right now sitting in 8th place. Obviously, once the conference schedule starts, that record will take over the overall record for placement. But Riverton not in last, which is good. Also, Lander Legends not in last. So,
high school girls regional softball underway. The 4A North Regional is being played up in Gillette. That gets underway with game 1 today at 11 a.m. as Thunder Basin takes on Jackson. The closest teams to us at 4 o'clock today, Cody and Whirlin meet. And then, of course, that tournament lasts through Saturday, the 4A South Regional in Rock Springs. And those teams will be matching it up all weekend with state, of course, next weekend. So did want to give a shout out to the high school girls softball teams. Lander's going to join the ranks next year. And so best wishes to them. I mean, they played a bunch of the varsity teams this year and actually fared very well in high school girls softball. So that's fun. I'm sure that there will continue to be talk in the coming years about possibly Riverton joining the high school softball ranks. But for now, we're not there. And Riverton is, focusing on soccer and track this weekend.
Well, you talk about softball. It's cool to see how successful that the implementation of high school softball has been. There's been lots of teams that probably didn't really compete in, what was it, USA softball or whatever, the Little League softball version, the youth softball league, whatever it is. There's a lot of teams that probably didn't compete in that, but now you have like teams like Wheatland and other smaller towns that have these high school programs, and the reason why is because they can be funded by the school board and by the school there, and just giving their athletes more opportunities to shine. It's really cool to see the success of softball, and hopefully they can use that to maybe transition. Looking at, obviously we talked about high school baseball, that kind of stuff. I think school-sanctioned sports, that's the way to go. If you want something to be funded well, that's probably the best option.
Well, and that's a good point, Baylor, and a good opportunity to make a point out there to any state legislators listening to this broadcast that these activities are increasingly important in today's world because kids need to be busy. And it's been shown nationally that kids in activities get better grades. They have more success in life. They're more driven, whether it's through technical or non-technical careers, whatever they're involved in. And so, we would encourage that these legislators take a look at that funding model again for schools so that we can fully fund our activities offerings in public schools. It's that important. And, with that being said, I'll try to get non-political again, but big signing this week from Wyoming Indian High School as Cordell Spoonhunter finally put his pen to paper, and he will head to my alma mater, Eastern Wyoming College, where he'll be a Lancer on the men's basketball team in the fall. And, I actually fielded some calls through the basketball season from some people in Torrington, some good friends, some people who were trying to help the coach. And I ended up talking to the coach later on. And, I'm just pleased as punch that Cordell Spoonhunter is going to be at Eastern Wyoming College. His dad played there, was an outstanding basketball player at Eastern. And Cordell has all the tools to not only play at the JUCO level, but then take those on after he gets some good experience in Torrington and play at the next level. And, so congratulations to Cordell Spoonhunter. He was the 2A Southwest Player of the Year. He was all county for WyoToday Media. And, we enjoyed following him through his career, which started as a freshman. He had some adversity along the way. But again, congratulations to Cordell Spoonhunter, to Wyoming Indian High School, to all the high schools in Fremont County and Hot Springs County who have seen athletes signed to play at the next level.
Yeah, it's a big notion there, and it's especially cool because Cordell will be able to come back here and play CWC. They're obviously in the same division. That'll be fun to return back to Fremont County and play in a college sport. Congrats to him, of course, and like you said, congrats to all the other athletes that have signed to go places. It's a lot of really cool signings out there. There's a lot more people know about Wyoming athletics than you would think, and so it's pretty exciting to see all that. Obviously, as we come to the end of the school year, just wanted to move to a lighter note. The Avs, they defeated the Wild in the second round of the NHL playoffs. Dallas Stars still securely sitting at home watching those games happen. Sorry, Kevin. Shout out Colorado. They made it Western Conference Finals. Those will begin on Wednesday. They will take on Vegas in a 7-game series. That'll be a challenge. Vegas, of course, lots of experience. They've made the Western Conference Finals 5 times in their 9 years as a franchise. So, going to be a challenge there for the Colorado Avalanche. And then just wanted to talk briefly about the schedule release, which really isn't really a thing anymore because it was. I saw the entire schedule a day before they released it. But the Broncos, they opened the season with 5 out of 6 games, incredibly tough. At the Chiefs, versus the Jaguars, versus the Rams, at the 49ers, at the Chargers, and then versus the defending Super Bowl champions. That's going to be a tough start of a season.
Well, let's just talk about week 1. I mean, what a great matchup. Of course, ESPN, ABC, they're buying into the Broncos now. And, I don't know why you wouldn't. Probably the best roster in the NFL. Of course, that's going to be an arguing point from other people. But opening up at, Jihad Stadium now in Kansas City. And it's still going to be Arrowhead to me. But what a great way to open your regular season on a Monday night at Kansas City. Bo Nix. Patrick Mahomes, good stuff. It's going to be a blast. And, I didn't pay any attention until it showed up in my social media feed last night. But, man, what a start to that schedule. I think that the Broncos, if they can come out of it, 4-2 or, heck, even 3-3, it's going to be tough. But you've got the number 1 defense in the NFL, and so why not play the best right out of the chute when everybody's healthy? Should be fun. And, if you follow Denver Broncos, there's hype there. It's fun. It's a good time.
Well, it'll be a good test. Obviously, last year, a lot of people, joked about how easy the schedule was for the Broncos. Well, they won the division. So the schedule this year is going to be the hardest because they're playing every champion, in every division. So it's a good way to come out the start of the season and prove, what's going on. Somehow, I don't know how the Chiefs, they fell off last year, but somehow they have more primetime games than the Broncos still. I don't know. The Mahomes effect, I suppose, is still there.
Speaking of sports in Denver, I'm still on the Mickey Moniak train. That young man has revived his career, and he had a huge 3-run bomb the other night against the Pittsburgh Pirates. And Moniak, 12 home runs this year for the Rockies. Rockies gave him a chance. They took a flyer on him because he was cheap, but he's a really good piece of the puzzle in Denver. And, the Rockies, they're going to lose their share this year, but it's a young, talented team. I can't wait to get down there in June and see 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, it's going to be a telling season. I think, they're much improved from last year. They actually have ownership that actually cares now, even though they are a minority owner, but still it's going to make a big difference. So, yeah, it's exciting times, I think, for the Rockies looking ahead. They're setting foundational pieces in action right now. I mean, obviously they're young, but hopefully they don't trade away their best player in the middle of the season. I don't know. That's where I'll leave that. One final note. Broncos-Bills, Christmas Day. I mean, it's going to be like in Denver. So
3 o'clock on Christmas Day.
That's going to be a fun game. But it's 8:40. We better get out of here.
Hey, best of luck to all the teams. Riverton at regional soccer taking on Jackson today. Lander and Pinedale for track. Lander playing soccer, 3A, regular season stuff. Regional track in Shoshone. There's a lot of things going on. Baseball tonight at Roy Peck Field. Hey, get out and support the local athletes. They deserve it. And Baylor, it's always a pleasure. And what's your word of wisdom today?
My word of wisdom: live every day like it's your last. There you go.
There you go. And hey, it's graduation weekend. Everybody be careful. Don't make a mistake this weekend because you've got a long life ahead of you. Take care of each other. Make sure everybody gets home safely. And hey, we'll see you next week with Wyoming Sports Live.